Most of the businesses and people in here are putting out one piece of content a day on a good day. Maybe 3 a week. If you're a personal brand, you're killing it and posting 4 things a day. There is nobody that is achieving the volume. If you want to write down one word and stick it in your mirror from this whole talk, the word is volume. This is a volume warfare. When people hear volume, they hear quantity. When they hear quantity, they don't think that you can make quality. They think it's a friction between quantity and quality. I believe that the world has grossly overvalued production quality and made that quality not the story or the context of the message. And so as we have spent the last 30 to 50 years putting production value on a pedestal as quality, we have put ourselves in a position to not value context and the actual story. And in that is the rub and the opportunity.
I would argue that some of the content that I put out actually makes it hard for Andrea and Kaylin to get our company to get business because I curse, because I've got a different edge. And sometimes a very conservative company that really wants to work with VaynerMedia may be turned off by a founder that's a little too Jersey. I would also argue that because I'm authentic and I'm passionate and it's not coming from a bad place, that there's a lot of people that find that refreshing and want to work. I think the content you need to put out is the content that's true to you. You know, the truth of the energy of the intent and truth always overperforms, whether you're very conservative, very, very silly, very, you know, your sense of humor is your strength, not your weakness. This whole notion of suit and tie, look professional, it's dying by the second. And we need to recognize that. Now, one may think that's bad, and I understand that. I genuinely do. I just am not in the business of judging society. I'm in the business of reacting to society. It's also recognizing that the second you're over-focused on monetization is the second that you're limiting your upside. So to me, it's more about, can you get into a mental place of realizing how little do you need to live so that you don't think about monetization at all? Every time you pander to the monetization, you're limiting your upside. Because inherently you start making things for the monetization, not for the audience. You get into a new machine. Yeah. Your own machine. The authenticity a little bit. It's whether it's authenticity, like whatever word we want to put against it, the second your day is about waking up and figuring out how much money YouTube or Facebook's gonna make to you versus what's going to make somebody really want to watch this is the day you start the process of not being able to win. You know how fun it is that not a single piece of my content, back to a lot of business model here, you know what it feels like to not make any content with the thought of how does this create a top of the funnel scenario to a landing page that converts to my livelihood? Yeah, you know, looking at some of you knowing your business models, that puts me in a position of being able to win. That's why it's happening. It also is why you're here. Whoever brings the most value wins, not whoever creates the perception of the most value. That person wins in the short term. Because they want extra side hustle money, like to save up for their Disneyland trip, which is so amazing, the problem is they don't have the discipline to build an actual community going for the close, right? So A, you could get lucky and have a single pin that goes viral, that goes to your Shopify page and sells your thing. But the way to build in any platform, including Pinterest, is to put out a lot of content that's just valuable and may just come back to your blog or your shop without going in for that hard sell. In essence, romance. It's the odds of like rolling up on somebody being like, you wanna go into my hotel room at the bar? Low. Romance for a couple months works. And so it's about putting out content that brings value. Whether that comes in video form, whether that's infographics, it leads to self-awareness. How do you actually make good content? Are you a good photographer? Can you draw? Can you make a video? Because it all plays on Pinterest. And that works on Pinterest and it works everywhere else. Self-awareness of how to create, patience, romance, to create a community, which then allows you to go in for the ask after you've built up the equity. The best way to make a little side hustle as a stay-at-home mom on Pinterest is to think about cashing in 9 months in, not 9 minutes in. Where I'm really going with this is a couple things. Context is what drives a lot of success. When you read all your comments, for all your content, you get context from your audience, and it helps you think about the next place you can go with your storytelling instead of you just being creative and guessing, but you have to put in the work to read the comments. If you're sitting in the crowd right now, it's unacceptable for you not to reply to the comments you get on your content. I don't know how, honestly, like fuck it. Like I'm just gonna go that literal with it. I don't like to do definitives things because that's just not how life is, but I'm just comfortable going there. It is actually fundamentally grossly negligent and unacceptable for you to be in a place where you do not reply with a thank you or a heart or a meaningful, you read it and you meaningfully wrote something back to every single comment you have right now in whatever limited that is, because those 7 people are disproportionately the reason you're gonna get 17. And yet you're so worried about getting the next 10 that don't know you, you're giving no fucking love to the 7 that decided to watch your horse shit. Let me tell you why that's so important to read your comments. The reason I've been able to continue to come up with shit is because I read comments. The replies to things are the things that allow me to build on things. It's how I got into parenting or self-awareness or keeping up with the Joneses. It was just one long seed to why is every single person here not doing exactly what I'm saying? That would be something I was interested in. And then I would read and I'm like, oh, insecure, and you just keep going down these paths. You must read every comment, you must reply to it. Everybody here's trying to build a huge following. The best way to build a huge following is to actually give a shit about your small following.